Hey guys, how are you all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. If you guys could just smash the like button, that would be awesome, and we will go straight over to those charts. Right, so after a little bit of a sell-off we had this morning, you can see we have had a bit of a bounce back up to our resistance zone, this 9,200 area, and we look like we're going to try and have another go at it. So it's really going to come down to whether Bitcoin decides whether it's got enough strength to get through this 9,200 area. If it does, obviously, I think we'll find our way up to 9,400, 9,500, and then it'll be a case of, well, do we struggle at that one or do we get sent back down? But maybe, obviously, we've going to ditch this trend line now that we had before, and maybe we're going to sort of form a larger ascending triangle. Sorry. Oh, don't know what's up with my throat today. Maybe we're going to form a sort of a larger ascending triangle, and then manage to work our way through. And obviously we've got the top of this wedge coming in as well. But we are getting way too many diagonal lines coming in all over the place here. And you guys know I'm more interested in the actual the horizontal areas, the sort of the big box areas that we're looking at. So yeah, I think this week will probably be a big week, again with earnings for the stock market. So and then we know Bitcoin is pretty much taking its lead from the stock markets. So we'll have to see obviously what happens there. These markets will pretty much be open soon. The futures will be, so we'll kind of get some direction. Altcoins have been strong this weekend, especially some of the DeFi alts. So that's good for just wider interest and strength in the Bitcoin market. But we've obviously just got to shake off this downward trend that we've got going on. I mean, it probably just is this weekly Stokes that we've been talking about. That is causing us all these issues at the moment. Larger time frame moves are obviously based off that are pointing to the downside. So we've obviously got to overcome that, and you can see we quite clearly had the weekly TD9. Which that candle basically was the high of this move on all the weekly candles, as you can see. So the weekly TD9 is playing out as you would expect. What I would say is that 1 to 4 candle correction, 1 2 3 4 candles, and now we're higher than the fourth candle. So maybe we are making progress back up, which based on this weekly time frame, that sort of gives us our 9,700, 9,800 box that as a macro area. Looking at this, how I trade the TD9, I would probably look at the body rather than the wick, because it's a pretty extended wick. But yeah, if we take out these bodies, these closers, and especially if we close a weekly above there, because it will be above these two. If we get above this horizontal, then that would look incredibly good for extension to the upside. So that's the aim. That's what we're aiming for, guys. I'm not necessarily saying that that's what's going to happen, but that's the dream. 12-hour Stokes point back up there. If they can get some momentum to the upside, 12-hour Stokes are my favourite. 4-hour Stokes as well. Looks like it's going to turn back up, but it's pretty much in a nothing burger zone in the middle of the range. Drifting between up and down, just with the ebb and the flows of the 9,150 to 9,152 range that we've got going on at the moment. But yeah, so are we gonna get a proper reaction off this TD9? Obviously, we have broken the downside of it on the 12-hour, so that doesn't look good. But we didn't get a follow through with that trade, and actually the next 12-hour candle is doing its best to close above basically the open of the last candle. So and then you can see the daily candle is looking very, at the moment, and bear in mind it closes in 2 hours, this is a 24-hour candle, is looking very doji-esque. It's looking very much like a doji. So that indicates buying pressure. So you would, on candlestick analysis, taking out the high of this candle, this doji, would trigger a buy trade. and that would be well, it'd be a buy at our resistance zone, and maybe that'll get us through, and yeah, trigger a nice little rally. So what we may be looking at is a breakthrough here, then a back test of support, and then moving on upwards. I mean, to the downside, really, we are still just looking at this 9,000 zone. This 9,000 zone, I think if it gets taken out, there's going to be a pretty catastrophic waterfall, basically sequence of selling events that are probably going to get us down to 8,600 pretty quickly, I would say, because we've got such low volatility, and we have well, we're struggling to make upward movement. So I think the bears would really step in, and the buying in this area would just capitulate. And yeah, I mean, 8,600 is the zone. We really need to find ourselves closing larger time frame candles above. But could we get wicks down lower? Quite easily. I mean, we know Bitcoin loves its wicks. It's just how Bitcoin is. It's just how it is. Sadly or not sadly, however you want to look at it, it is the wild market that we like to play in. So so yeah, so that's it really. Not a lot to say, because if you look at this daily candle, not a lot has happened. The last 3 daily candles have been relatively similar, and there's not much movement, as you can see on the 12-hour. And bear in mind, this is a very tight range. This isn't like yeah, this isn't like this. Do you know what I mean? How that would view, this is basically in a very tight range. Anyway, so that's it, guys. Remember, this is not a financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Hopefully we've got a good week of movement, and hopefully that movement's to the upside. And yeah, I will speak to you guys in the morning.